don't do. I got plenty shoes. I got hotel, motel, but no place to go. Break don't do. I got plenty shoes. I got hotel, motel, but no place to go. Inside, outside, baby, take me down and spin me. Inside the ground, and I'm bringing me, and I'm bringing round, and back is in my back is in my red don't do. Recto blue, I got brand new shoe, but I got old town, but no place to go. Recto blue, I got brand new shoe, but I got old town, but no place to go. Inside, outside, baby, take me down and spin me. Yes, I could round down and bring me real down and bring me round in. Back is in my recto blue.
And welcome to a guy whose camera is still off. Oh, wait, no, it's not. We're good. Hey, I'm here. So, welcome to RideMSTA podcast, everybody. We are a couple of very tired people. Tom is coming in. He is here. He just stepped away for a moment. So, we'll have him back shortly. Jerry is on assignment somewhere in Ohio. I'm pretty sure he is watching guys in leather pants. That's all I know. We're going to stick with it. I hope he's having a good time taking some pictures. You'll see him on Facebook if he is. But tonight, we're going to have a little bit of fun. RJ had an idea, and he sent us hunting. But before we get into that bunch of shenanigans, we're going to go over a couple of things. So, starting tomorrow, Flyby Week is going on over in Marietta, Ohio. So, I know a lot of you guys are probably already there or on your way there. So have a good time. Take some pictures. We'll live vicariously through you guys. September 6th.
Looks like they're getting fantastic weather for it, too.
Oh, man. Don't tease me with good weather, okay? September 6th, we got the Bull Shoals Rally coming up in Theodosia, Missouri. Bull Shoals Rally is a lot of fun. That is some beautiful roads down there. It kind of dips into that Ozarkish territory, and once again, a lot of cool people. September 12th, Double D Durango Days Rally in Durango, Colorado. I have never been at a rally in Colorado, so give it a shot. Hey. September 26th, Fall Colors Rally in Lewisburg, West Virginia. Yes, we are to that point of the season. I am as sad as anybody else, trust me. It's coming. But it'll be a fun rally and a lot of really cool scenery, and who doesn't like watching the leaves change? Other than the obvious indicator of what it means. So, October 4th, Fall on Two Wheels. That is over in Suches, Georgia. And October 11th, the Byway Boogie. But the big one, the Coupe de Gracie. Starting September 19th, Star 2024 in Kerrville, Texas. Check out the raffle info. There is a flash sale running. It was August 29th, wasn't it?
25th.
25th. August 25th. They are doing a flash sale on the raffle tickets. The one-day flash sale only on the raffle tickets for the bike. There's also a raffle giveaway for a Nomar bike lift, their new bike lift, and that thing looks awesome. That is a well-built piece of equipment. I mean, it's Nomar. Anybody who's been in this game for any length of time knows Nomar, knows their quality, knows what they're all about. So their tire changers are top notch. This lift is not going to be any different. It's worth the price of admission. So,
and the GSX-8 is a fantastic bike, and there's a really well written review in the Star Review this month.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Tom. I am back.
Hey, welcome back, and we are live there, sir.
Yeah, just as we were started, I got a phone call that I had to take. So, oh well.
That's okay. We accept it. We didn't tell him you were on assignment. We told him you'd be back. Jerry's on assignment, though, so you got left out of the shenanigans.
There you go.
So, this is a quick and dirty episode this week or this month because we've all been crazy busy. We kind of threw it together last minute. There's not a lot of structure to it, just some stuff we're gonna pop in and chat about. First thing, I'm gonna hit it off before we get into RJ's crazy little game. I'm sure by now everybody has heard Harley is moving RevMax production to Thailand. So by that it means anything with a RevMax engine. Sportster S, Pan America, the Nightster, and anything else that comes out. Supposedly for a year, but we've all been down that road and we know what that means. 1 year means, no, it's going to be permanent. And it has caused a huge uproar in the community because, I mean, the same CEO has also said they're going to electrify the entire lineup by 2030 and get rid of internal combustion. If it doesn't say potato, potato, it won't be a Harley and nobody will buy it, dude. Just saying. Know your audience. So, RevMax going to Thailand. That one scares me because they're right now. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I was going to say I got a couple comments on that. From the articles that I've read, Forbes had a great article on this, and mostly from the financial side. So the funny part is, one, they're being sued by the unions because when they closed down a few years ago, the Kansas City plants, and sent that production off, they told the unions they would never sell or import any foreign made bikes into the U.S.
Yeah.
So now all that production's heading off to Thailand. The funny part is that the CEO, as part of their statement, said, we are not going to have a reduction in workforce.
But yet they're building
they're sending
less
off
bikes.
Right. They're not only are they building less bikes of their core bikes, so that means the Pan American and all the Revolution engines are not considered core product. They're building less of the core product because they want to make more profit. They're sending off a major piece of production overseas, but somehow they are going to maintain their workforce.
And that
doesn't add up.
No, it doesn't. And this is the same thing they did when they started with the Kansas City plant. Because the Kansas City plant used to build like the Evolution Sportsters, the V-Rods. I don't remember what the other... Oh, the Dynaline. They built the Dynaline. And they killed off all three of those models one at a time. It started with the V-Rod, then the Dynaline... Or no, the Sportster line went away, and then the Dynaline got canceled out. And, oh, hey, bye-bye. No more Kansas City plant. And they idled the whole facility.
So I don't think the Thailand thing is anything. I mean, I own two Triumphs. They're both made in Thailand. They're both fantastic bikes. But the panache of Harley Davidson is an American brand, made in America. Yeah. Does that take away from it? You know, look at I put an example. Before the show, we were talking about the Livewire. Well, when the Livewire said Harley Davidson on the side of it, it cost $30,000. When they took the Harley Davidson badge off the tank and made it the Livewire, it suddenly cost $20,000.
Yeah, so it turns out it's an $8,000 badge.
Harley Davidson badge, that badge was 30% of the cost.
Yep.
So are they going to drop the price of the bikes by 30%?
No.
No.
Well, I mean, judging from people that I know that are in the whole Harley lifestyle, it kind of seems like these bikes are already being handled like mules.
They are.
These are also in the corner of the showroom. You really want a road glide.
The one that they don't, that I've noticed at most of the dealerships I've been to, is the Nightster. Because that's the only 975 equipped bike. So they have turned that into their Sportster 883, and that's what they've been selling to the new riders as a beginner bike.
Which is frightening on its own because that's a 90 horsepower motorcycle.
I actually got into this argument with our old marketing manager because I said, okay, I teach new riders. I don't even feel safe on the 1200 Sportsters with those guys. I mean, 883, you're talking 48 horsepower. They're very lazy. Okay, that maybe. But now I was like, let me go ride this Nightster because I have a feeling this is not what you think it is. And that thing is not a good beginner bike. It's a little bonkers. It is actually way lighter than you would think. It's the same weight as like the Street 750. So you take a Street 750 and give it a bunch more horsepower and very rudimentary traction control. It is not a beginner bike.
Yeah, I mean, and how are you going to bring new riders in and expand the people? I mean, the only way to really get in a safe way is to go buy another brand.
Yeah.
To start off with.
Yeah, this will be interesting because I looked at the financials and even the Pan American is down year over year 56% from their production high.
Well, the reason that has become such a big thing was they can't get them to work. To put this in perspective,
I've heard issues.
I ended up on another GS, and I got blasted by the guys at my dealership because, well, why didn't you buy the Pan America? It's because I went to take 4 of them out, 2 of them came back on a trailer, and 2 of them never made it out of the parking lot. It's like, I need my bike to work.
And maybe the change will help the quality control.
That's what I'm hoping. But I don't even think it's a quality control problem.
Hey, Triumph makes a hell of a bike in Thailand, so.
That I'll give them. Like, Triumph knows their game. But, see, the problem comes in because they won't admit it, but the new touring frames are having similar issues. But it's the electronics. They can't get them right. That for whatever reason, they can't get the tech to play right.
I mean, for the last few years, Harley Davidsons have been assembled in America using global parts.
Right.
And
sure.
That's
the frame and the engine are the only thing made in the U.S.
And the fairings.
Ah.
Yeah, fairings are all made and painted in Tomahawk, all the plastic. So your hard luggage, your big bat wings, all that's all done up in Tomahawk. But the wire harness, the suspension, everything else around it, and the engines are assembled here, but most of the components, like all the foundries. So I interned at the foundry who used to do the cylinder sleeves back in the day, out of Sparta. They are now shut down as several, like we're talking 23 years ago, shut down, and that owner moved all their production to their foundries in China, and they've been made in China ever since. And a lot of the other castings are done over there as well. So they're not as American as people would think.
Another unique thing that Harley does is that all manufacturers, motorcycle manufacturers, count their sales numbers based on actual bikes sold. So when a bike is sold at the dealership, all right, that's counted as a sale by the manufacturer. Harley counts their sales figures based on what's shipped to the dealers.
Yep.
They're one of I don't know of anybody else that does that. So if they want to make their numbers do really well at the end of a quarter, end of year, ship a ton of bikes out to your dealers, and from the manufacturer perspective, they're sold.
I believe some of the European manufacturers do that as well. I believe Piaggio does, because they will force a whole bunch of bikes on dealers that they really don't want.
Now, that's actually become a point of contention with the dealers, because the Harley dealers just got. Now they've since revoked the upgrade requirement because all these dealers were just told they had to do a whole bunch of upgrades for their destination dealership experience, and this was thousands and thousands of dollars of stuff they would have had to have done. And now they're on top of that, they were pumping them full of bikes, like they were forcing them to take on so many more bikes than they could sell at any given point in time, with no incentives to get buyers to take them. Like, we got dealers that are still sitting on 23 inventory like crazy, and they're pumping them full of these 24s. And they're just going, we don't even have room to put them anywhere. So yeah, it looks good on the Harley balance sheet, but it's screwing the dealers.
And that's a bubble
Yeah.
that's eventually going to pop.
Very fast, actually. Very, very quickly. Because they're charging these dealers for these bikes. They're having to pay these invoices out. And now, I don't know if any of you guys have ever worked in like an automotive or power sports dealer environment, but all of their inventory is on a revolving credit account, basically. And the way that account works is they're given so long to turn that vehicle over before interest starts to accrue. Now, this interest rate is not what you would get on like your normal going and buying a new car. It's like 22%. And it's calculated differently. So now this bike that they've had to sit on for over the 90-day period, not only do they get tagged with the interest starting from then forward, they also get retroactively charged the interest. And now this motorcycle is costing them an additional $250 to $300 every single month. It's right off the bottom.
I used to run a boat dealership in Florida, so yep, same thing.
Yeah, and that can eat them
You,
up.
you definitely want to move inventory. Oh yeah, you definitely want to move inventory before your floor runs out.
Yeah, and now think about all these dealerships for Harley that are sitting. Not only they've got all these bikes on the floor, but a lot of them have these warehouses just packed, 100, 200 bikes sitting in there. And every one of those is costing them this amount of money. How long before that drains a dealership, which already has small margins to begin with? Granted, Harley's dealers do have a little bit higher margins than most because their markups are higher. It's that premium product and experience thing. But they also have crazy overhead.
And we should mention, where they're moving these productions, this isn't like a new plant and something brand new. They've been making bikes in Thailand for a few years or several years that are sold to the EU and an Asian market.
Right.
Because that they did that in 2018, I think it was 2018, 2019, to get around the EU 25% tariff that they put on Harleys coming over.
Yeah, and that actually made sense. That's a strategic move. Just like some of the stuff they moved to, I think it's South America. It gave them another line into another market where they could work around the tariffs because now it's built by local labor or associated labor.
So this is all the unique thing is that those bikes are now going to come back to the U.S. That's the difference.
Well, and this CEO...
And that's never been done before, other than those little Benelli Harley badged bikes.
Yeah, well, like those training bikes that we got now, they're never going to be destined for anything more than a training bike. Actually, when we're done with them and they've run out of their service life, they have to be destroyed. They're not even VIN. So that I can even get around that. It's like, okay, whatever. Those things can come from wherever as long as they're a good training bike. Nobody cares. We're just going to beat the tar out of them and break them anyway. But
the problem is they still need some bike in that class to bring the new people in.
Yeah, I hope they never try to sell that one as a road bike because it's awful.
Yeah, I mean, and so was the Buell Blast. To their defense, I mean the Blast was a terrible bike.
Okay, I will argue the point that the Blast was actually a lot of fun and it was stupid simple to own.
But it wasn't a good training bike.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, the clutches were super grabby on them.
Well, I mean, it's no different than some of the other bikes. I mean, like the Rebel 300s. Oh my God, the on-off throttle transition on those things are terrible with that fuel. Oh, okay, we're gonna be all notchy. There's no finesse at the low-speed throttle on those.
Yeah.
And the CB5, our CB300s are good for that too. So I don't really hate on the Blast because they actually did work. Plus, that's actually what my wife got her license on, so, a little bit of soft spot. Plus, I have a soft spot for Buell. But they were also really cheap and easy to fix.
Well, this will be curious as to what happens to them in the marketplace as things go along over the next several months and into next year.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna. If they don't oust the CEO and put somebody in that's a little bit more, bring back Matt Levatich. Okay, he was actually the one, and this is what the new CEO is arguing. It was Matt Levatich that said that they would not make bikes overseas that were destined for U.S. shores.
Right.
So now the new guy is saying, well, that's the old guy's plan. Idiot. Dumb. Just dumb. Stop it.
The one thing I will say is I'm glad I'm not a shareholder.
Oh, yeah. They're already starting to drop slowly. Next quarter, that's going to be the big tell into how hard this hit them. We're not
yeah,
going
I was
to touch
just
on the...
looking at their share price. They have. I track them just for giggles. Is so. I mean, off their highs, they're down about 20%, but still trading in the 30s, which is their normal trade range.
It's going to take some...
But they had hit a high earlier in the year of what was it, 40, almost 44.
Yeah. I think some of these decisions that looked good short term are going to, over the next year or so, start to not look as good.
If you take a look at it, back when Matt Levatich, though, was the CEO, and then you look at what their stock prices were trading for then, which was in the high 40s, low 50s, sometimes into the 60s. Watch the stock prices as of probably a year and a half after Johan Zykes took over. That's when it started to dip into the 30s. It was the low 40s, high 30s for a long time after that. And it's slowly ticking down, and this is only going to light some fires. We're not going to touch on the other side of the fire. Okay, I just want to be clear to everybody. We're not touching the political side of this argument that is coming up at all. Yeah.
No, just the financial side. Now, and their stock price may not be too bad. I mean, actually, from a shareholder standpoint, if you ship production overseas to a cheaper labor pool, that's going to help your profit margin because you're still going to bring it back into the U.S. and sell it for the same price. So from a shareholder perspective, that's a good move. Now, we'll see what happens to the sales numbers next year. That's when you'll affect, as a report, year-over-year sales.
And as these dealers are sitting on these bubbles of bikes from previous years that are sitting there in back inventory, it's going to start. I mean, the biggest competition a 2024 Harley is going to soon have is a 2023 Harley that's still sitting in the crate in the warehouse.
Yep.
I mean, we'll have to see. It didn't hurt Triumph when they moved their production out of Hinckley to Thailand. No. That there was a little bit of an uproar around that, and then I think people realized the quality was as good, if not better. So, we'll see what happens. I have no skin in the game here, so never owned a Harley, probably never will. So, doesn't really matter to me personally, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, aside from coaching at a dealership, and I live in Wisconsin, so I guess I do have a little bit of a stake in it because a lot of family or friends or people I know work for the company, and I want to see the company succeed. It's it's home legacy. It's Harley Davidson. It's Wisconsin. So I do want to see them succeed and grow, and I want to see them flourish. I want to see the people keep their jobs.
So the only Harleys I'm really interested in are Buells. So.
Oh, I was a Buell fanatic. Oh, still, funny enough. So, that's all I've got for the Harley side of things. If you guys have anything more, speak now or forever hold your peace, sirs.
Nope, I'm good.
All right, one thing I do want to touch on one thing real quick too before we dip over to a couple of the RJ's topic. Well, RJ's topic before we get to the game. Twister 2025. I know a lot of people that watch the Facebook pages have started to see more updates with it. Twister is coming back to Wisconsin next June. It is going live. Now we have a hotel block reserved at the Round Barn Lodge in Spring Green. We have tentative routes. I did the rough draft of the routes. I have a couple of people that have looked through them, made sure they came up on their GPSs. I got a couple of people that are going to go pre-ride them for me. I've done some of it. But as of right now, we have routes published on the Facebook page for Twister. If you want to go check them out, head on over there, download the file, let me know what you think. Give me some feedback. It is a 2-day rally because I wanted to give everybody a little more time up here, try to drive some people that would be interested. It used to be 1 day and 1 day only, and people would make their own adventures for like 3 or 4 days up here. So let's give them a full 2 days to play around, and then they can make their own adventures before or after that. So that's Twister 2025. If you got any questions, any feedback, hit me up at wiscomotoinc@gmail.com or send me a message on Messenger. I'll probably be looking for volunteers here shortly going into next year. I'll also have the registration link out. It'll probably come out after our riding coach season is done, and I've got time to go in and do it. So sometime in October, I'll get the pre-registration link out for it. We're doing it as a just for fun event this time, just to get it running again. If it takes off, we'll move it back to being an official MSTA rally. So let's make it a good one. I miss Twister. RJ, you gonna come to Twister? Can I
At some point. Not this year.
Well, next year. It's next year.
We'll see. Wisconsin's a state I need to check off my list because we're trying to hit all 50. So.
Oh, and I need to take you to the Southwest region and show you the driftless because it is gorgeous.
But I'm at this point, I think my planned trip out there is going to be when we do Slimy Crud. When I do Slimy Crud, because I really want to go out to that at some point.
Oh, we can just combo it. The Slimy Crud run is like in the edge of that area.
Okay, there we go.
Oh yeah, we'll have some fun.
So my topic kind of goes. We've talked about some of these a little bit before. Some of these more interesting forms of racing that have started coming around, like the bagger racing with Moto America, the Super Hooligans. Watching TV randomly last night, I'm not typically one that follows flat track, but when I see it on TV, I'll watch it because I want to support any kind of motorcycle racing that's on TV because it's getting few and far between. And they had the Sturgis TT on, and the first thing that popped up was a new class that they started this year, and this was the first race of it, which was ADV bikes racing flat track. And it was interesting to watch. The Sturgis track was a little bit different than most other flat track tracks that are usually a dirt oval or a dirt bull ring. This was on the streets of Sturgis, downtown Sturgis, where parts of it were asphalt and parts of it were dirt. And flat track TTs typically have jumps on them. So the bikes actually have like front brakes on them. They're a little bit more set up somewhere between a flat tracker and a supermoto. And they were running these BMW, or sorry, not BMWs. It was Triumphs, Pan Americas, and I think there was an Africa Twin. And they were running them in this race. And it's interesting to see that I'm kind of surprised that that's the first place they started doing it with how popular those bikes are. I mean, people want to go watch the bike that they have race and the bikes that they own race. And that's kind of where I think the popularity of the baggers is coming in the United States and the Super Hooligans, because you see less and less sport bikes every year.
Yeah. Actually, the Super Hooligan class has been a lot of fun to watch because that's. Oh, go ahead. Oh, Tom, I think you froze.
And RJ, I looked at the. Did I freeze up?
Yeah, you froze for a second. So, and that was.
Are you guys able to hear me?
Yep, you're good now.
Okay. So yeah, so I looked at the article. I looked at all the pictures. So my issue with this is the same as with the backers. If you're going to race that style of bike, you have to look the part and do and be. So I'll set the baggers aside for a moment. So for the adventure bike, they need to be in adventure gear, not race leathers. Okay. They need aluminum cans on the back and a top box. They didn't have anything. They're wearing race helmets, there wasn't a beak in the group, so no adventure style helmets. Every third lap, they should have to stop and down a Starbucks espresso. If you're going to race the bike, make it real. It's the same thing with the baggers. All right, my line on the baggers is, okay, great, but you can't have leathers. You got to be in jeans and a white beater t-shirt. You got to be smoking a cigarette with a beanie hat, and every third lap you got to stop and chug a beer. Let's race the stereotype.
Well,
I would love to see that.
Looking at the rules for this, it looked like the bikes themselves weren't messed with too much. Like they took the headlights out of them, but like suspension, it looked like they might have been running. They were running like an 80-20 tire on them, like an 80-20 adventure tire, and I don't think there's anything changed suspension wise or anything like that to them, versus the baggers. They're running through. They're running 2 motors per weekend.
Yep. Well, not only that,
on those bikes.
My gripe with the King of the Baggers is it gives all of the bagger owners this false sense of hope, because you look at these bikes. So the King of the Baggers bikes are running within, like at Road America, they're within 1 second of the 600 Super Sports. But they're completely race-built chassis. They're completely, like, those bags that are on them are a quarter of the size of what's on the actual bike.
And cost-wise to run that bike, they're somewhere between the Super Sport and the Super Bikes.
Oh, they're way more expensive than the Super Bikes. Well, like you said, they're eating up an engine or two a weekend on those things. Super Bikes will get out there and they'll run the same engine the entire season.
They're as close to your Road Glide as a NASCAR stock car is to your Chevy Malibu at home.
And most people don't appreciate how tall they are either.
Oh yeah.
Seeing that video when they had Ari Henning on, I think it was Ari was on. It was either Ari or Zach Quartz was on one, and those two guys are like 6'2", 6'3", and they're having to hold the bike up for them to get on it.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I will say impressive about the adventure, I looked at some of the pictures. I didn't get to see the race, but they were taking turns and treating it like a supermoto.
Yeah,
absolutely. That was entertaining.
Yeah, and I think that fit very well for that. And I think that's if someone's going to do adventure bike racing in the future, I think that's where they really should be looking at doing it, is almost like a supermoto course where they're running asphalt for part of it, and then there's a dirt section that they run through, and maybe even throw a water crossing in there somewhere, like that event in the Olympics where they're doing the hurdles and they have to jump in the water over one of the hurdles.
Oh, the steeplechase.
Yeah. But I actually said that when we were watching that to my wife. I'm like, this would be great. Like make adventure bike racing like this.
That'd be okay. I would watch that like crazy. Make it like a cross country type race or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, the GS trophy is about to kick off fairly soon, but that's very exclusive to the BMWs in a very weird competition. Maybe this becomes part of that. Open it up to all different kinds of bikes, and the races is just one segment of what you have to do.
You get some asphalt in, get some dirt in.
I'd be game. Oh, and Tom, just FYI, I ride around on a GS in an Alpha 11 Pro helmet. So I have a full race helmet on my GS.
That is fine. I did as well. I retired my my Arai XT4 a number of years ago, although I may get a new XT5. But it's the look. You know, you got to have the look.
I'm
If
running
you're
a
going to race
full.
the bike.
I'm riding my Tiger with a full Bell Race Star carbon fiber helmet, and I've done track days in the full leathers on the Tiger already.
See, I guess I can
There you
never
go.
knock the adventure bikes. I mean, we all ride them.
Yeah,
And they are just as at home slaying twisties as they are getting out on that gravel road and going ham. Oh my god, so much fun. I actually also side note, we went down to the Twister region to do some demo or some test riding, and one of my buddies came with, and he's got a speed triple, and he typically leans into sport bikes because he's also got a Concourse 14 stuff like that. So he leans into the sportier side of things. This is the first time he's got to ride a GS in anger. It was when we were going through Wildcat Mountain State Park, which is like our mini Tail of the Dragon. And he's like, I realized I'm actually faster on your GS than I am on the Triumph because I can just effortlessly throw this thing around.
that's why I got rid of my VFR. I mean, I was more comfortable on the Triumph, and I was faster on it.
Yeah.
Why am I torturing myself?
Well, and even on the 900, like the Triumph 900, there's so much low-end torque.
Yeah.
Like, it's just effortless to just ease on the throttle and pull up out of a curve.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't on my 900. I don't miss the extra the weight and the missing 30, 40 horsepower. You know,
Yeah.
for that small part of the rev range that you use it. Yeah, I don't get there at least for me.
That 900 triple's got such a nasty mid-range torque curve on it. You don't really need to rev it out. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, throw it tight curves, throw it in second or third gear, and just rip. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, in the mountains, I'm typically running between 5,000 and 7,000 RPM. That's about it.
Yeah. So adventure bike racing could actually be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah,
cool stuff.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm with RJ and Tom on this one. Let's at least make it somewhat appropriate for the genre of bike. Let's give them a challenge.
Now, I don't think this would be as interesting to watch in a non-TT format. So if they were just going around the oval, sliding it sideways the whole way, I don't think it would have been as fun to watch as it was with the jumps and stuff in it. I think that really made it more adventure bike friendly.
Yeah. Let's get 600 pounds off the ground, man. Let's go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're running them on any of the ovals. It's going to be really interesting to see a Tiger 1200 with no front brake rotors on it.
Oh yeah, valid point.
Because I mean, they usually don't. For the TTs, they run front rotors, but for
the oval track,
regular
track,
they don't. Nope. So it'll be interesting to see a wheel with no rotor on it.
Ooh, that'd be weird. Well, let's keep an eye on that. I'm actually gonna go try to find that video tonight after we're done because I want to see this. This should be cool. So, are we ready to move to RJ's fun little idea he had?
So everyone complains that getting into motorcycling's so expensive to do, and in fact, before we came on, we were talking about the $60,000 CVOs, and you really don't need that. And what I wanted to challenge everybody to is see, for $6,000, if you could only have one bike, what could you find locally? And we all have come up with some, and then I also threw a second one in. If you could find one for $3,000, what would you end up finding? And I believe it's Brad that's usually talking about never buying a new bike and everything has carburetors on it.
Yep, and everything I think he owns is either carbureted or under 300 cc.
Yeah, so that one's going to be the Brad Bachelor section.
Oh, the Brad Bachelor bonus round! Yes.
Yes. So I'll go first. I'm going to share my screen here. And my pick, which I believe is going to be Jerry James approved, is a 2016 versus Kawasaki Versus 1000
Oh, nice choice.
with 8,000 miles on it, heated grips, and all the shad luggage you could buy.
Wow.
It gets the job. That shad stuff's pretty good. I had it on my Tracer.
It is. If you're looking for it, it's located in Milton, Pennsylvania. Um, just says it has a couple scratches. Looks like it's a gorgeous bike. Extra auxiliary lights on it, heated grips, and it's 1,000cc inline four with a 17-inch front wheel on it. So you can buy it. To me, that's just about the perfect sport touring bike you could find.
So
Yeah, you got $1,000 worth of shad cases on there already.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that top case, you could put 2 helmets in it.
Well, that's that same engine that's in the Ninja 1000 and the Z1000, or the old Z1000.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to own an '08 V-Strom, and it's an L twin. It is you can't kill it. It is a workhorse engine, fantastic torque down low.
So
they're
was
a fun
going.
bike.
The V-Strom 1000 was going to be my other choice until I found this one.
Oh, this isn't a V-Strom.
This is a
It's
Versus.
My bad.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Kawasaki's version. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
And,
I missed that.
Both of them. That was what I went looking for, because you can usually find them relatively cheap, and you can do everything with them. If you want to ride them sporty, you can ride them sporty. If you want to go adventuring, you can go adventuring. You could do a week trip on it, or you could do a single day riding canyons, and you'll have fun with it.
If you want to make it look better, drop it a few times.
Well, this says it was dropped once, so
see, it's already started to look better.
It even has the scratch shad case.
Hey, that's adventure bike patina, baby.
Absolutely. And we'll go around everybody's $6,000 bikes first. Throw top.
Hold on, before you go
Go
to
ahead.
that one, the one thing I'll say about this. So I've owned a Z1000, and actually the guy I was just talking about that has the Concourse and the Triumph right now, the bike he got rid of when he got the Concourse was I think it was 2013 or 2014 Ninja 1000 that I rode quite a bit with him.
Mm-hmm.
That engine is phenomenally smooth, and it is super quick.
Yep.
So to have that in a more sport touring, like full sport touring chassis,
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
It'd be a ball.
You did lose points because it's not Kawasaki Green, though.
Yeah, I know. Well, you can only find certain things.
True.
So let me see if this switches over. It did not. Let me change my screen here and go to Tom's pick. And okay, should be coming up.
It's coming. There we go.
There it is.
Okay, knowing what
I didn't even
picked
look
now,
to see where this was out of. So I love scooters, and I've had scooters. This is one of the few times that I don't have a scooter, and I've had this particular one. So this is a 2020 Vespa GTS 300. I used to have a 2018 GTS 300. Mine was white, and when I found this one, I didn't even realize until I started looking at the pictures, like, oh my God, it is like bright pink. It's only got 80. It's got 85 miles on it. That's it. As a 2020. So Vespas hold the value tremendously. I mean, to buy this bike new is about $7,500 is what the Vespa 300s go for right now. They're fun, great commuter bike, great bike around town. They'll still get up to highway speeds. I mean, my Vespa would do 72, 73, depending. Gets about 85, 90 miles to the gallon. You only got a 1 gallon tank, so you got, 100 miles. They're fun. So that's why I chose Vespa. Now, my caveat though is to, buying that next bike is I would have to sell a bike before I bought this bike. I just can't go out and add a new bike because I'm at the top of my my formula for number of bikes.
You maxed out
you
N
guys
plus
don't
one?
apparently don't have that issue. Well, no, so N plus one is one formula. The other formula when you're married is D minus one. D equals divorce.
Ah.
So I am at my maximum of D minus one. I have 2 bikes and that's enough.
See, I think that's where RJ and I looked out. We both have rider wives.
Yes,
yeah,
and
can't add another. But I will. I mean, I've always said, if I get to an age where I'm not traveling on the bike anymore, or I just want to bike around town, I will go back to a scooter, something like this. Another one I was looking at too that I really like a lot is the Piaggio BV350. But those are a little harder to come by. I didn't really see much more. You can get I found one that was on the West Coast. You can normally get those like 2 or 3 years old, under 6,000. They go for less. The Vespas have, like I say, hold their value. There is a panache to them, but it is, if you're gonna have a scooter, you're gonna have a Vespa. They're fun.
If you ask someone to draw a scooter, they're gonna draw a Vespa.
Oh yeah. And let's be honest, when it comes to scooters, they are the prettiest.
Mm-hmm.
And they are surprisingly quick. I mean, it's a 300. When I had mine, I used to take it to class to teach. And, the students would be like, oh, you're riding the Vespa. I was like, hey, that Vespa's faster than anything in this class you guys are riding.
Well, I mean, it's a 300cc engine and something that weighs as much as a backpack.
That was one thing, is that if I needed to move it in my garage, I could pick up one end of it and move it around. It's 23 horsepower. I don't forget what the torque is on it, but it's a CVT, and it is set up to where the torque is down low. So I was used to say when I commuted on it, I could beat just about everything from a light in the first 30 feet.
Nice.
So I can get across the intersection.
Well, I definitely can't hate on it because it's cool.
Absolutely not.
And it's pink. How can you hate a pink bike?
How can you hate a pink scooter specifically? All right. Yeah. If you are not man enough to ride a pink Vespa and laugh your butt off the whole time you're doing it, what are you even doing with your life?
Hey, when I commuted on so I had a white Vespa, but in the wintertime, I would be wearing my full Aerostitch onesie, which is 100% yellow.
Nice.
Talk about, you have to be secure to ride that. But it was a fantastic commuter bike when I did that.
So you didn't go for the scooter skirt?
I
did not do the skirt. No. I had heated grips on it, and I rigged it so I could run my heated jacket. I think the coldest I ran that bike was about 15 degrees, and that was chilly. I was hunched around that little fairing as much as I could.
Oh man, that would be, popsicle level. Even with the heated gear, that's cold.
It couldn't generate enough power, not with just the jacket. Yeah, that was a chilly.
Okay.
All right, Rob, what do you got?
Okay, so RJ had a cool one. Yours is going to be the most unique by far. Mine is not going to surprise anybody at all. So
what kind of GS did you find?
I could not find a GS in a year range that I would buy in this price category. So I started looking at FJRs because a few weeks ago you could find a Gen 2 FJR, which has got all the updates. And it would have like 30, 40,000 miles on it. You could find it for about 5,500 to 6 grand. There was a few of them floating around. They are all gone. All I could find was Gen 1s. So I really don't want a Gen 1 FJR at that price point. So I went to the next best thing. Oh, share screen. Window. I found a 2015 Concourse 14 with all of the Farkles on it for $58.99. It's already got the windscreen. It's already got the trunk. It's already got an aftermarket seat on it. It has all the things. And you know what else it has? It has a 1400cc inline four that makes earth-rotating torque and horsepower and heated grips. So that's probably the most boring of all ones. In the $6,000.
So you guys went to the practical side. I went to the heartstrings.
See, my thing is the way I ride, it's never going to change. Like, I'm always going to be a sport touring guy. I'm always going to gob on the miles. I'm always going to want to use it to commute. So I have to have my locking hard luggage. I have to have my comfort, my wind protection. And I like a bike that can handle. Like, I need to be able to do my corners. I want the power. I want the So I looked at the FJRs. I tried to find a GS in that price range. No luck. I found an Super Tenere for like $48.99, and I low-key considered it until I realized that it had 110,000 miles on it. And I saw this with 36,000 miles on it and went, yup. This is obvious. So, that's my pick. If I had to have one bike and one bike only in that $6,000 price point, for me, it's hard to miss with the Concourse. Until I have to work on it.
There you go.
All right.
Okay, so now for my for the bonus round. For my $3,000 bike, I found the most meh bike in the world.
A Harley Sportster?
The 2011 Honda Deauville.
Oh, man, I forgot about those.
Oh, wow.
Dude, this
700.
This is the one with the trunk where the gas tank is, right?
Yes, and it's a 700cc V-twin.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and what's unique about this is that the saddlebags, there is a pass-through. So
yes.
if you open both saddlebags up, there's a pass-through between them, so you could put something very long and carry it in the back.
They are dead reliable. They're over Honda engineered, and they're fuel injected.
I met a guy, an older guy who had one of these. He loved it.
One of when I was going through my training to teach motorcycle safety courses, one of the guys that was in my class with me, he had one of these that he rode. In fact, I recently saw him at the racetrack with it as well. And he was scraping pegs with it, and they're great, reliable.
And if not mistaken, you can get that in a DCT as well. This particular one doesn't, I guess.
I don't think these ones you could. That was the NCs.
Yeah, it was NC.
Oh, the NC, got it.
Yeah. These were super popular in Europe. They did not sell well here.
I remember when these first hit the showroom floors, looking at them. And I remember opening that frunk and went, I dig this. This is kind of cool.
In fact, one of our Pennsylvania members from MSTA actually has one. The last ride for food that we did, he brought it out. They're
Yeah,
like some fantastic bikes.
Disappointed. Honda's never brought over
Yeah.
the. I saw one in Europe, the NT 1100,
Yes.
which is same design, just bigger. Still
Yep.
has the front. Has the same engine that's in the Africa Twin. They sell great in Europe, but they've never brought it to the U.S.
That and the Hawk 1100 as well.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, see, all I can think of when I think of an NC 1100 is that is taking scooter, because you get that with the DCT. That's literally a scooter on steroids. But it's cool.
Yeah, it was like my Goldwing. Goldwing was the same. Had DCT. It was, had all the bags on it. That's when I sold my Vespa. Was when I bought the Goldwing, because they served basically the same purpose. It was a grocery getter, and it was an automatic.
And while I'm going, I'll bring up the bike that almost cost me money from playing this game. It sold out from under me within 30 minutes, but it's a 1990 Honda GB500 that was for sale for $1,500 in Fenton, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
which,
that
if
is
anybody,
pretty.
yeah, if anybody's familiar with it, this was Honda. Typically, is about 20 years ahead of a trend, and by the time the trend comes around, they're not making the thing anymore. So this was Honda's attempt at building a modern cafe racer, and they did it in 1990. The Thruxton came out in 2004. They only missed it, 2004. They only missed it by 14 years, the trend. But
there you go.
Again, Honda bike. They are a cult bike now. This is the reason that sold in 30 minutes is I've never seen one under $5,000. And this was one of those bikes that they couldn't sell off the showroom floor, kind of like the Ducati Sport Classics.
Yeah, looks like a early version of a Triumph Thruxton.
Yep.
So it's got some Norton vibe to it too. Did you notice that?
Yep. Yeah, and the GB stands for Great Britain.
Oh.
No,
so
right.
that was what they were playing off of.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey guys, unfortunately, I've got a hard stop and have to bail on the 2U.
Alrighty. Well, it was been fun having
RJ,
you
thanks for the game. That was fun looking up to see what was available.
Okay.
So thank you guys very much.
Yep.
Everybody, I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll talk at y'all next month.
All right. Thanks for coming in, Tom.
All right. Thanks all. Bye.
So, Rob, what is your bonus round pick? Which also sounds like it may cost you money.
Approximately $3,000 if I get a response back. So this one might actually surprise some people. I found a Ulysses in Maquanago, and I have an obsession with Buells. It goes back all the way to the X1 days. So, 33,000 miles, in decent shape. Hold on. Oh, allergies, I'm killing me. It's got a few little minor farkles on it, but, comes with a set of ADV tires, because ADV boys. Little loved. But, it's an XB. You can't kill them unless you take them on a racetrack. And then you blow them up. But, torquey, 1200 cc, little beast of an engine. I mean, I had a Yuli for a little while. I loved that bike.
Everything I know about them has been written by Peter Egan. And, I mean, it seemed like he loved the ones that he loved the ones he had, but they all had character.
That is Buell ownership in a nutshell. Like anything prior to the 1125s, which that was a whole nother ball of wax. You never own a Buell and go, I'm bored with this motorcycle. It's just too easy to own. They are. I mean, the engines have tons of character just in the nature of. I mean, it's a Harley-based engine. Everybody knows that. It's that Sportster engine, only done up. These Thunderbolt ones were really good. So, they've got the rumpity rump, and they do the shaky thing that all Harley engines do. And it's kind of a fun little characteristic of all the Buells. But they are weird to ride. Because they are, the way their chassis are, they're so sensitive to minor adjustments that you can throw them completely off and have them ride like crap, make half a click on a preload or compression damping, and they're just night and day.
What I was searching, I had an odd one come up that I had never seen before. It was a Buell S2T.
Oh, yeah. From the 90s?
Yeah, and it had like integrated bags.
Oh, yeah.
Into it.
So
it was just an interesting bike. I've never seen one before.
Actually, if you want a good chuckle, my runner-up window was an S3T.
Oh, nice.
They are fugly. Like, they are hopelessly ugly bikes, but it's the same chassis as an X1 or an S1 Lightning.
Completely weird setup with like the shock underneath the bike, and
yeah, they're different, but these are carbureted.
Yeah,
and they are finicky. So that was my runner-up, was an S3T.
You could, that is a problem though that can be solved by the same way I've been solving many of my carburetor problems lately.
Yeah, buy an XB, they're fuel injected.
No, throw Electron on it.
True. I like my idea better though, because then I have an XB and it gives me an excuse to get a Ulysses.
Are you going to take it to the track?
I would. 100% would. I had the Yuli on the track a couple of times at Blackhawk, and it's an XB. It's the same chassis and everything as a Firebolt or the City Cross or any of those.
It's basically the same idea as like the original Multistrada is, where it's just the sport bike on stilts.
Yeah. And even the stilts aren't that tall. Like, I hesitate to call it an adventure bike. I tried to do some adventure-y bikey things with it. It never ended the greatest. I mean, they're rugged, but 17
plus you need to put a guard on that rotor.
Oh yeah. May have broken one of those. It's still not as bad as shattering the front wheel on my V-Strom, but that one hurt, and was a very expensive tow bill off of the Trans-Wisconsin Trail. But, well, before we drown out all these guys, that was a fun game.
Yep.
We're going to have to do something similar again at some different price points and maybe lock it into a specific genre. I think we could have some fun with this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's find $3,000 cafe bikes or $2,500 supermotos or something. We could have some fun.
I own one of them already.
A $2,500 supermoto?
Yep.
Which one?
I have a 300 XCW.
Oh, I am banned from owning supermotos.
So a 2-stroke supermoto.
Oh my god. I am not ever allowed near that thing.
I shouldn't be either.
And I get on a supermoto, all of my reasoning goes out the windows, and my 12-year-old self comes out to play. There isn't a curb or a sidewalk that's safe. I ride them like a retard. All right. On that note, it's been fun, everybody. Like I said, quick and dirty episode. We had a lot of fun. That game was hilarious. We're going to play with it some more. and we will see you next month. Peace outs.
Bye.